Hi guys, Will Terry here, and this video is going to be called Should You Buy More Than One Table at a Comic Convention? And you might notice that I'm actually in a different environment. I'm now out of my home office and I'm now down here at our SVS studio, svslearn.com studio. And so yeah, this is what the background is going to be looking like. No more I had a mural backdrop with a lot of sketches on it. That's gone in favor of just like my office. So here we go. This is going to be an update video for my playlist on tabling at conventions. If you haven't looked at that, or if you're new to my channel, I'll put a link to that below so you can check out the whole playlist. I started back in 2 years ago was my first convention, and it didn't go so well all the way up until today. And I give reports and stats and things like that. And so this video is going to basically be the same. I probably won't do another video for quite a while unless something really crazy happens, because a lot of them tend to be sort of similar. I learned different things in each one, but this one we were trying to answer the question, is it smart to buy multiple spaces? And now that we have stats from previous years, we can kind of gauge how it's actually doing. So we're going to share all that. There's going to be maybe a few interviews thrown in there, and our setup and different things like that, and then I'll wrap up at the end. Okay, Will Terry here, and I got Wayne here. He's actually, something that happened to him since last time is he's become mute. He can't talk anymore, so it's just going to have to be me now. So sorry. Hey, you know what?
Okay, I can talk.
Hey, wait a minute. That always works in the movies. We have fun doing this. So I'll tell you a couple little things. Wayne just got back from a 3-week road trip by himself, where he took this road show. What do we call this? The circus or something?
Yeah, I guess. Kind of like the dog and pony.
Yeah. He went to Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Then you stayed out on the road.
Went right to Long Beach.
Went to Long Beach, did Long Beach Comic Con. And then you ran home. No, you came home.
I came home for a day.
And
went to Portland.
Went to Portland, the Rose City Comic Con.
Yeah.
So sorry for the shakiness.
It's my car, the car.
Yeah. So now the big thing that we're doing on this one, this is also if you're new to my channel, if you haven't watched my other Comic-Con videos, this thing had a very humble beginning. And in fact,
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, and it didn't start out very well. I started out in the hole, and now we're doing pretty dang good. And there's a playlist, and I'm going to add this to it. This very well could be the last video on the playlist. And the reason for that is there's not that much more to talk about. I mean, we've done it. Now, I have had a bunch of people request a video on, like a tutorial on, not a tutorial, more of an advice video. Yeah, something like that. On
maybe they want a TED Talk. No.
How to do Comic Cons. Like, what are the, like, if you're going to do it, if you're new to it, how do you table at conventions and stuff like that. And that might be something that's coming. But as far as this playlist goes,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. TBA. But I mean,
this is our 2-year anniversary.
It is, and the main goal on this one, the reason why we're videotaping this one, and we've skipped. We haven't recorded a lot of them.
No.
Hey, look, there's snow on the mountain.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that over there, but I'm going to try to show it to you. It's a little bit of snow. We got our first snow overnight. Squirrel. But the main reason why we're recording this one is, and I think I recorded a little bit yesterday, but it's going to be out of sequence, or a couple days ago when we set up. So you're going to see that next, because it's out of sequence. But the main reason that we're doing this is because we got 2 booth spaces at a big show, and that we wanted to answer the question, can 2 dumb guys make more money with 2 booths than 1 booth? Now, Do they give you a price break on 2 booths?
No. So we got 2 corner booths
at
just
twice the
as
price.
much.
Yeah, you get 2 booths at twice the price. So one booth, I was looking yesterday, was like $1,300.
Yeah, I think or $1,250 or $1,150.
Well, on our spreadsheet it says $2,600.
26.
So we're at $2,600 in the hole. But what we figured is, since this is our local show, we get to sleep at home.
Right.
We don't have the long drive with all the fuel and the wear and tear on the vehicle and everything.
And the hotels.
And the meals and all that. I guess we're eating anyway.
Yeah, we're eating it, but we don't have to. So that's on us.
Right. That we would go ahead and spend roughly the same as what it cost us to travel and do a show. Just to answer this question. Now the funny thing is, Wayne here, this guy, he's a tightwad.
Yes.
And I like that about him. Except sometimes it gets annoying because he always wants to shut down the operation. You know, he's always like, no, let's not spend.
Let's not spend. Buy a water pick.
Right. And was that a Seinfeld reference?
Yeah, that's like kind of a Seinfeld.
But I'm more of the guy that's more the risk taker, I would say. Now you are a risk taker in a lot of ways. In fact,
I have a high risk tolerance.
You do.
But I don't like to spend money on stuff I don't need.
You have a high risk tolerance for stupid things, though.
Yeah, that's what it is. For stupid things. But pleasures like good food and
right.
Can't risk it.
And I'm more of the guy who's like, let's just spend it,
live a little,
and test it and see if it's going to work or not. Now I have a feeling that Wayne's going to be right. And I will tell you a story. Like sometimes I am right, sometimes you're wrong.
Right a lot.
Sometimes we bet on things, and even though I'm rarely right, I'm going to tell you one where I was right and he was wrong.
Oh yeah, you know, and that's,
we have a double.
Let me just say this.
You know what I'm going to tell him.
Let me be embarrassed in advance.
You know what I'm going to tell him.
It's a good story.
Where were we?
Is it? I don't even know. Was it in Anaheim?
Yeah.
Yeah. So get in there, I'm like, let's put this big old billboard that says, "Hey."
Yeah, we had the alien, and he wanted to put it on the top of the booth, so one side's advertising in our area, and the other side's advertising over top of the head of the guy behind us, which is bad form, right?
We thought,
And no, you thought.
I thought, let's just try it.
Let's just try it. I said, there's no way we're gonna get shut down.
We might.
I said, there's no way that this show will start with that sign up there. Either the guy behind us will complain, or someone from the event staff will complain. And he says, I bet you we won't. Now, luckily for you, we didn't bet any on.
Right, luckily we didn't bet like $1 million.
But it was 5 minutes later, this guy comes by.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, not even 5 minutes. He says, hey, you guys, I love your booth. Wow. And he chit-chatted us for a while.
Yeah, he's like
oh, these yeah, so then, but
the way,
you're going to have to take that down. Yeah.
What's that?
So Wayne's probably right.
I can't get there.
He's usually right about money things.
No, I've lost plenty of money.
But, so last year we made, I think we said 9,300. That's what we're remembering. We'll have to consult the sheet, but I know we didn't make. It was either
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, Salt Lake. We made either 9,100 or, and this is gross. This is before expenses
and taxes.
Right.
Back sales tax.
And that was with one 10x10 booth, $1,300.
No, wasn't that 3?
Nope. We were in one 10x10 booth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so there's a profit margin.
When did we do the 3 tables?
I will guarantee that we were in a 10x10 booth. Don't tell Lori.
I'm not saying you weren't. I'm just saying, when did we do those 3 tables?
That was the year before.
This is our 3rd year here.
It was at FanFest or something.
Okay, you might have been FanFest because we did Salt Lake twice.
Yeah.
So
we had a booth last year, almost in the same spot.
And you are right on these memories of what we were at and what we were doing, because it is one big blur for me.
So, but the thing is, so for me to be right, we have to make enough profit. We have to make more profit than last year, basically.
Right.
Which means
gross better than 91.
Right. So it has to account for that other 1,300.
We're going to Ruth's Chris.
Yeah, we've had this. All right. So let's tell the Ruth's Chris story. So we went to, I can't remember what show it was. Was it Denver? And we said if we break $10,000, which at that time we hadn't done before,
of course,
then we owe ourselves a Ruth's Chris dinner. Now, if you don't know what Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is,
look it up.
I've been there once. It was with a group. It's really expensive. I don't go out to those kinds of restaurants because of how expensive they are. But the steaks are really good if you're into that sort of thing. And anyway, we said we're gonna have dinner there. Well, on Denver that year, 2 years ago, we counted up and we made 90. When the first count, we had $9,800, so we missed it by $200, and so we didn't go. Wayne said, "You know what? I think we should go anyway because that's dang close." I said, "Nope, let's save it. We'll break it another time." And then we recounted, and we were at 10.
Well, we recounted because after the credit card money came in and stuff, and so after sales taxes.
Right. It was like $100 over $10,000. So we didn't. You got brake lights coming up here, like a sea of them. And so we didn't go. And then we thought, you know what? We'll go when we're at home because there's one in Park City, and there's one in Salt Lake. And then we were gonna go, and then it just didn't feel right. It was like the hype was over and all. And so we went out to a steakhouse local that was cheaper. It was just like we just didn't do it. So now we've set the bar at 15,000, but we made 15,000 in Denver.
But then instead we went to the Texas Roadhouse.
We went to Texas Roadhouse.
We enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it. So this time we were walking. It's funny because we parked our car yesterday or the day before, right by Ruth's Chris. And we said, okay, if we make 15,000 at this show, we're gonna go. Because in Salt Lake, that would be a feat because people here hold on to their money.
Yeah.
It's interesting how different each city is. So there you go. So okay, that's.
So if this video ends with us eating at Ruth's Chris,
yeah, then you'll know.
Sauce all over my face.
So we're gonna go up and we're gonna see the setup. I didn't get to go yesterday. Wayne actually sold yesterday, and he had a pretty good day, right?
We did, but let me interject. When we got there, so I took my daughter, and as soon as we got into our set, we got there early so we could finish setting up. And we got into our booth, and all of a sudden, kind of a gust of wind came in because they opened the big doors, and our whole, what do you call it, backdrop thing, the Ravelli backdrop display banner and everything just toppled down
from a wind gust because we're having a big storm.
Like, that isn't good. And we're sitting there, and these other people come around, kind of lift it off. It's like,
and it broke two. It broke two of the frames.
Yeah, it knocked these pictures down, and we can show you that when we get there what it came down. And they're like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, we're not." But crap.
Yeah, because
anyway, that was kind of a set.
It's hard on your equipment when stuff like that.
Yeah, it is hard on your equipment and your psyche. It's a letdown.
So anyway, there we go. We'll check back in when we get there. Okay, so here I am with Wayne here, and we're back at it again. Peace.
I'm here. Gotta get a picture of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I got kids.
So here we are setting up. Here's our booth. I'm just making a little YouTube video here, and we got. This is like a little over 2 years. Is this our 2-year anniversary?
Yeah, this is our 2-year.
No, this is my 3-year.
Third time here.
It's my third time here. Yeah, so 2-year anniversary. Maybe I should start this over. Hey, here comes Jeff Delgado. Where's Matt? Where's Matt?
No, Matt.
No?
Sorry.
Okay,
He's here right now.
You're in the video. I'm just.
Jeff.
We're documenting this one.
Where's Matt?
Because we're going all out. So while they talk over there,
not here.
the question that we're trying to answer this time is it worth it to get 2 booth spaces, 1 and 2 right there? And so it costs twice as much, obviously, right? So that's what we're going to try to answer. Sometimes you roll up and we got this thing right across the street from us, this power thing. I don't like that. You know, you can see them down here. You got pillar. Everything's backwards. Pillar. Another couple things I can share with you. We've got a bunch of frames that we're going to try to sell. I don't know. See if that makes a difference. We've had those before. Got some new prints that I'll be showing you when I get stuff set up. But this is what it looks like when everything is like just kind of packed. We put our, one tip I can give you guys is we put our tablecloths down first, because everything you put on the table is going to be in your way when you want to put the tablecloths on. So we kind of learned a little bit of a system here. Each show is different from year to year. You know, who's across from you. You know, like sometimes you'll get somebody across from you who's a really big draw, and so then your booth kind of gets ignored because they're really drawing them in. Or sometimes you're the person drawing people in, or sometimes you get lined up across from Geico and people are trying to avoid their salesman, and so they'll avoid your booth subsequently as well. So look who I got here.
I'm going on a
Mr. Money Mel.
journey with Will motherfucking Terry. He's gonna show me how to really do a booth. That's why I don't do them anymore.
I want some advice.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
No, I want some advice from you.
All right. Go ahead. What do you want?
Just general
What's the best
advice.
part of this? The
Just
best part of
general
this the best part of this convention.
You mean
doing it at a convention?
Oh, you're going back. You're going old school.
Oh yeah, that was like the first one, dude. You got me caught up on. I'm waiting for that.
This is gonna have to go in the outtakes.
Okay. That's
Because it doesn't match anything else I've been doing.
No. Okay. What have you been doing? Who have you been messing with?
Nobody.
It's kind of
Just you.
It's kind of sad.
So have you transcended Comic Con? Like you're not even. Hey, we passed our booth. We're over here.
Go this way.
We're over here.
All
See,
right,
this
look,
is.
now, did we break the 180 degree? Did we break the 180 degree rule?
Yeah, I did. I know. It's like
storytelling.
I just spun it
Better
around.
catch it on. Look at this. Now this is how you do a booth.
Right there. So we
Where's
finally
Wayne?
got set up.
Look at what the heck is this? What is this?
We're at the end of the show.
So there's Wayne over there.
I
Here's
know
the thing.
Will
Did you
Terry.
know that our backdrop fell over yesterday?
Is it?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Right after I got here. How are you, man? Where's
You guys have taken.
We gotta do that again. What was your name again?
Where's Matt? Where's Matt? Do you know Miles?
No.
I mean,
Will, how you doing, Will?
I'm messing with him.
Because I know Will's never in his booth.
So
Will.
here's, let's go around. These are some, you guys can make comments. I'm showing what's different. This is my new book.
Fantastic.
I haven't had this
I
at
was
a
fortunate
convention.
enough to look at this book in the making. Like,
Oh yeah,
I was like taking it another level.
that's right.
I got to be in there, see these like this come together.
you haven't got your Halloween shopping done. There's still time.
We still have the spinning racks.
You got it, man. You're all magical.
I know.
You're in your realm.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we got these. We still have some onesies. We actually got these reprinted. The frames fell over yesterday and broke.
Wow, that's the whole thing?
That whole thing fell over. The backdrop there,
Wow.
all the way on top of this, and knocked these frames off onto the ground. They
broke?
They broke. Yeah.
That sucks.
We donated a few frames. So, oh, we're supposed to. Hey, Wayne, will you turn on the lights?
He helped me put the banner back up yesterday.
Oh, thanks.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Wayne,
Where's the TV? You got rid of that. I see that.
Clifton, what?
turn on those lights, will you? So we can get the full effect here.
I'm waiting for Will's stripper pole to come down too.
Look at that. The what?
I said his stripper pole come down. Like, what's going on over here, you guys? That looks fantastic.
So, yeah, we got these lights on a battery actually. I'll go back here. Rather than pay the extortion fee for the electricity, which is like $100, we just bring one of these batteries with us. Hook it up to the lights. All right. Okay, so the show hasn't started yet. I think we've got another hour. We have half an hour before it starts. Hey.
I was here when the excitement happened yesterday.
He helped me put this all back up together. He's one of our.
Okay, I'm just making a video right now. But thank you. Thanks a lot.
Why don't you sit for yourself on the channel YouTube?
That was actually on the SBS force.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I hope it's going good. Okay, good. Okay, so it's always nice when our booth is busy and there's people looking at stuff. And so yeah, I love it. Let's see. It's a big space here, and we have a lot of store frontage. A lot of people looking. It's the beginning of the day. A lot of times people will look, and then they'll come back. You'll see them at the end of the day hustling as they're going to make their way to the car. So here we go, all the way 360 degrees here. Oh. Okay, so we're back at it again.
Well, we're back.
I've changed my shirt color.
Not me. Same shirt. Haven't even been to bed.
So we have some reports for you. We did okay yesterday. What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Driving.
We didn't have a phenomenal day, but we had a good day. And so yesterday we made somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,000, and if we add that to Thursday, we're at a total of 5,800 going into Saturday, which is the best day here at Salt Lake. Our booth cost $2,600. I think I said $2,300, but I looked on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, it was $1,300 for one.
$1,300 for one 10 by 10. Salt Lake's expensive, but it's a big show. So you can do the math and see we don't really have many other expenses. We have some printing costs at a few $100s, and we have a little bit of travel, gas, but
parking.
Yeah, and since I'm dieting right now, we have less of a food bill.
Yeah, not spending much on food. We're gonna go somewhere tonight.
Right, we will eat tonight, but we won't make the 15,000 goal that I had set last year.
It's probably out of the question.
Which is fine. I mean, this is an interesting thing because you do really well at one, and then it sets the bar and your expectations, and so then when you do good, and look, I'm a realist. If you haven't seen my first videos, I was sweating bullets after the first one because I had spent something like $5,000 getting ready for it, and I only made $1,500 the whole weekend. And so I was upside down $3,500 after my first show. So I know what it feels like to not make your table, to not to be in the hole. And sorry for the shakiness.
It's my driving.
It's his fault again. We didn't have any mishaps. We did. The banner fell down. We talked about that.
Yeah, but that was 2 days ago.
One that we never talked about in this video series, I don't think, was in San Antonio.
What happened
remember that
there?
when I started putting money up on the dashboard?
Oh yeah.
No. You were putting money on the dashboard.
We were counting our money.
He was putting it on the dashboard.
Putting it on there in hundreds or whatever, stacks and.
And then I was hot, so I rolled down the window when we were sitting at a traffic
just as the light turned green.
And a gust of wind took the hundreds right out the window.
As we were pulling forward.
So we stopped. It was busy. Everybody's trying to get out of the convention.
Jumped out of the car.
And he's
picking up money.
We think we got it all back, but we don't know.
If we didn't, hopefully it went to someone that really needed it.
Yeah. So those things happen, and then you get those stories that you get to talk about for the rest of your life. I mean, we really haven't. We've been propositioned before. We've had in Phoenix.
The ladies of the night and early morning.
Yeah. That was interesting.
I wish we could have filmed the one where the girl was fighting that, not fighting, but where she kicked that
Let's
guy.
not go there. Anyway, we had the pigeon in the room. In Phoenix. Phoenix is there's a lot of stories out of there. So today the neat thing about today is everything's paid for. We're already in the black. We're all set up.
You gotta get me the sign.
Yeah, so we're gonna go there and we're going 2 hours early. That's why it's still.
Get some stuff.
I don't know if you can see, but it's early morning out here. The sun's not up yet.
So tired.
And that's one of the things that's kind of tough about doing this. If you're thinking about doing this, some people do this for a living. We've met a lot of people that are out on the road all the time, and Wayne is semi-retired, so he does it for fun. He makes a little extra money. It's keeping him out of a real job, right?
Yes, and out of real trouble too.
Right.
I haven't been to jail in I don't know how long.
So, but if you're thinking about doing this for a living, there are some realities where we got home last night late because at Salt Lake they didn't kick everybody out.
Yeah, and so
like a lot of shows.
Say what happened.
A lot of shows they just as soon as the thing ends at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, they have security like, okay, everybody out, get out, you out. They didn't do that last night, and we ended up
want to cover everything up or
right.
put everything
And then we
on
had
the
somebody
floor,
that wanted to talk to us.
and people come by and talk.
She kept saying like, and another thing, and then I got to tell you one more thing, and then my phone.
About Uncle Lester's goiter?
Right. So we had that going on, and so we didn't get out for an extra hour, so we didn't leave till 9, and then we had to eat because we hadn't eaten all day, and then we live about 45 minutes from the center, so I didn't get home till 10. My dogs needed to be walked. I got to bed at 11, and then boom, we're up at 7, or no, up at 6.
Up at 6.
Yeah, up at 6 to get ready to leave at 7. So it's a grind when you're doing it. We've met people that do 30 shows a year. I've met one person that did 35 shows in a year.
Well, and when you do that too, there's something else that you don't always realize is you've got to constantly be out there trying to get into your shows.
Right.
And then they say, oh, we'll have information, in a month or in a week. And so you're like, contact us tomorrow, and so you're contacting them.
You have to be really organized, and what Wayne does is he made a spreadsheet. And so,
organized.
What's that?
Kind of, but still.
No, but he's got like reminders set on your phone.
You got it on your calendar. Oh, sweet. You got to call Hawaii. You got to call Denver.
Right.
They couldn't sign up for Denver last year at the end, and so they're like, well, we'll have information by September 1st. Well, they still don't have their information out. So you're wondering if everyone got the info but you. So you're Facebooking your friends like.
And that happens sometimes where everybody gets the memo except you, and so they're
always,
all. And then you find out
latecomer prices.
Right. And then you also, and we've talked about this before, we've got money sitting in all these different cities around here. So, and that took a while to build up. So the profitability.
Not to mention the taxes.
Right.
They never show you, like, oh, here's your sales tax. You got to calculate that up. And some of these places, like, I think it's Tucson or anyway, some of these cities, it's like they just don't want you to pay your taxes. And so you got to contact them and you find what number and how to pay it. And they don't know anything. And finally, like, okay, you get send a check to this address.
Right. So there is a bit of paperwork, but if you were, in the end of all this,
it's better than digging ditches.
If you would rather have a job that you had to report to every day, or do this once a month or twice a month, would you rather do this? Yeah. Because you have so much downtime, free time, that it still is really fun. Now, of course, I don't do it full time. Wayne doesn't do it full time, but.
No, but we still make as much as I would, more than I could at a regular job.
Yeah, but he did real estate, so he made money doing that. But anyway.
But I got, interjection too, like, I don't know, maybe it's a year ago or not too long ago, my wife and I were kind of getting into it a little bit, and she's like, well, why don't you get a job?
Yeah.
Okay, honey. No. I don't want to work for a living. Look at these hands. I've been counting money all my life. I can't work.
The weird situation, we're in our 50s, and so the idea of getting a real job,
well, it'd have to be at Walmart,
is not what we want. And so, that's why I've always done freelance, and I do SVS, and I do the conventions. It's all about avoiding a real job in the end, right?
Well, yes, we're not putting down real jobs. I think, if my kids are watching, get a job. But what it is, it's about owning your life. And so we are not, if we want to go for a walk, we go for a walk. If we want to do something, we do something. And a job actually can tie you down. So it is neat to be able to provide without the J-O-B.
But when you're out here, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now here's something else I wanted to talk about. So you have your fixed expenses, right? Like, your booth costs. No, for the conventions. You've got your booth cost. You've got your, your lodging and your travel and your meals and all that. And then you've got your printing costs. And so we figured per show we're somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 in cost. But so the thing is, if a show brings in a total of $4,000, we sit there and we go, oh, it wasn't worth it, or it was barely worth it, or oh, that was a bad show, even though we covered everything and we made a little bit on time. But if you make, like, say, $6,000, all of a sudden, and that's where it's different from a real job, because you just don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
And the answer could be really good, like Denver, $15,000, and then you're sitting there going, why aren't we doing this more?
Now, clarify, 15,000. I know you said 15, but it almost sounded like 50.
15,000. Yeah, right. And so,
also though, like,
so there's a big. What I'm saying is there's barely making it, there's really making it, and then there's really making it, and you just don't know what you're going to do each time. But you can kind of get used to each city, and you can kind of predict about where you're going to be,
where you're going to park, where you're going to go, how the loading is. Also, we could talk about minimum wage, which we won't. But, you know, there's no guaranteed minimum wage. It's not like someone goes, oh, well, you're going to at least make, you know, $15 an hour in Seattle, or $8.75 in Salt Lake City, and we'll guarantee that. We lost money at what was that? Long Beach Holiday.
The Holiday Con.
Stupid thing.
That Wayne went to. Luckily, I didn't go down there, but they basically canceled the show.
It came out and said, okay, here's your guaranteed minimum wage.
So he lost his time, he lost the gas, lodging, everything,
we took
money.
Risk, and we're glad we could
Luckily,
do that.
but the credit card reversed the charges on the booth.
What it was is PayPal.
PayPal.
It's like, hey, you need to refund the money. Yeah, so we didn't get the booth feedback.
We got the booth feedback, but that still doesn't account for all your time and everything like that. So bad things can happen.
So there's risk.
One thing you got to do is network with everybody and ask them, and everybody does this, what did you think of San Antonio? What did you think of Palm Springs? What did you think of LA? What did you think of...
Right, and then you got to be delicate, because they might, you know, maybe they made 3 times as much as you, or maybe they made half as much or whatever, so you don't want to say, well, we brought in this much today, because you don't want them to feel bad.
Right.
A lot of people out there are really happy to get their booth feedback.
Right.
Booth fee. And that's okay, because they are networking, they're getting their name out there, their artwork, I mean, so they're on their agenda.
Right.
So sometimes that is a plus. So all you do is you go for the free trip to Salt Lake, or the free trip to Hawaii.
Which is, yeah, I want to talk about that too.
We're trying to get into Hawaii.
We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to go.
Yeah, we're going to.
They've already said we're in, so.
Who has?
Well, the guy, the owner of Amazing.
Okay, but I don't have.
I know. Yeah. It's not on the. We haven't paid for it yet, but.
We're going to Hawaii.
We're basically looking at the Hawaii Comic Con as.
Wives don't want to go. Then
a vacation. Well, we're going to get the wives to go. We're going to rent an Airbnb, and we're going to probably share with a few other artists, just to offset the cost. But we probably won't make a lot of profit on that one because of the airline tickets.
Booth fee and a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, right. So if we can offset that,
and
that's a cool thing.
Trip to Hawaii.
Yeah. So that'll be next August. That's incredible. If we go to that one, I'll probably make a video just because it's Hawaii.
Right. Plus, yeah. Plus, they want to see us in our bathing suits anyway by now.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I was kidding.
Bad.
Hold on, this needs to be on.
Okay.
Your name is Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. Horrible name for an artist. It absolutely blows. You have an original Steve Smith.
So here's your stuff over here.
Yeah, there you go. The original Steve Smith. My name sucks.
the Sally's frog.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Hey, Sudie, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
You okay being on YouTube? Sure. Okay. What's that?
Hi.
Okay, so we were talking the other day, and you said.
I'm here because of Will Terry. I watched his video series on how to do Comic Con. I did my first Comic Con last year at Wizard World, which wasn't great, but still a learning experience.
Right.
And I'm here at Salt Lake City because Will said this is an awesome con, and it is an awesome con.
And where are you out of?
California.
Sacramento. Okay. Sacramento area, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
No, I just think that's so cool that, like, I mean, I'm sitting in my studio.
Yeah.
Just sharing what I do, and it actually has an effect.
I mean, look at my booth. Cool. This is because of you. The artwork up there, inspired, keep it interesting.
I'm worried that I'm responsible for the good and the bad. You know?
You can critique afterwards and tell me off of YouTube what I need to finish. Like how to have the display up front where people could grab and interact with it.
I love that.
In their hands.
I love that. People
sides.
love to browse. They like, and they do this all day long, right?
And if they have it in their hands, half the time that's half the battle. Once it's in their hands, it's like they kind of own it. You know?
Right.
They don't have to ask for it.
And so if you're not putting product in their hands, you're missing out. What else?
On top of that, people are Comic-Conners are sometimes socially awkward. Sometimes and they don't want to ask you for stuff, so they could just kind of grab it. And sometimes You get the real shy ones that have a whole transaction
now,
without even talking to
you.
you.
Are you sitting facing out, like?
No, I'm sitting
right
facing sideways. I saw the video.
Okay, good.
And I'm trying for the most part.
This is your son, right?
This is my boy. Yes.
And so, are you guys talking, having a good time?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's good too.
Yeah,
Like having a sidekick.
Dude, I saw a guy in the booth over there. He looked defeated and sad.
Right.
It was just like you just don't want to get near him because it was just so sad.
Right.
It was like, dude, that's not a good vibe.
And it's repelling.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And so you have to be busy doing something else so they don't see
there's the opposite.
how nervous you are. You can be nervous, but hide it.
Yes.
Right?
And there's another lady I was walking behind while I was browsing, and the lady was like, I hate it when they stand there and just stare at you, like, talk at me, look at me, interact with me, give me some attention. I just love it when they sit and draw.
Right.
And which I usually do. You know, I get a lot of drawing done on here. I even brought my Wacom here so I can work on current projects. And then they look at, they're interested in what you're working on right now, which brings them in, and they're like, oh, you know, that's cool, you know, whatnot.
Okay, what about the buttons? Do those work? Because I don't have buttons.
You don't have buttons. For me, the buttons really work because they're cheap. It's easy for people to spend $1.
Right.
The little guys are $1, the big guys are $2. I'm going to get rid of the big guys, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
Because they cost too much paper, and most of the people...
You're talking about like this size.
Most people like the little ones because they can fit more on theirs and they collect them. And most of the time, the little buttons alone will pay for the booth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's really easy to doodle up some artwork for a button.
Right.
I mean, so you could find something that's super current, Pickle Rick or whatever, doodle it up, and yeah, the buttons alone will pay for your booth. Then everything else is kind of extra.
Okay. All right. So where can people find you? You are the original Steve?
Yes. And there's my Instagram, artist SRS1. Somehow there's already an artist SRS.
I've got my stupid iPhone, so I can't. There we go. Okay.
Please follow me on social media. Would appreciate it.
Yeah.
I do tattoos too, so if you're in the Sacramento area.
There we go.
Oh, Corey Miller, if you ever watch LE Ink. But yeah, if you want some ink, come by our shop in Sacramento.
All right.
Any other questions? I don't know.
No, it was cool. It's always fun to meet like people that I've never met before that are actually.
Dude, your videos are awesome.
All right. We don't
very helpful.
We don't need to go into that. Okay, so this is self-serving. Wayne made me do this.
I'm making him do this.
Okay. What did you just say?
No, I was just you guys conversating a little bit.
No. We're not going to do it fake. It's not a fake channel, man.
So we were just looking at the art, and I was just saying that I was so impressed with taking who these people are as adults and like their personality and what they are, and interpreting that into like them as a child. And I think it's just really awesome to like depict their adulthood as a child, like I don't know, in their childhood.
Right.
Look how cute. Let me play with that. You can edit all this out.
Okay. I'm not using it. No, because you're fake. He's fake.
This is reality. Just go ahead and chat. I mean, just go back to normal. There's a hidden camera right here.
We've done it. It's in the can. I got it. Okay, something happened to the audio, so I'm just going to voice over these next few clips. Here you're looking at Wayne's nephew and his daughter, and they helped us out in the booth. We couldn't have done it without them, so thanks a lot. And Captain Picard stopped by. And what you're looking at here is a little menu that we made because we have too many prints now. So that really came in handy. And then I just, from time to time, I would just get a little bit of random footage of people walking around. I think it's fun to people watch and to kind of see how people browse and what they're looking for. And a lot of people use our prints to decorate their nurseries or baby rooms, kids' rooms. This guy right here, I worked with him at UVU, Anthony Romrell. He brought this smoke machine and light show. And so I've got to find out. I don't know what his numbers were, but I got to find out if he did better than last year because that's like crazy. And he got all kinds of crap. The fire marshal came over. People got mad at him for having it. This is my friend Holly Hibbert, and her work is great, and she does really good every year. Okay, so it is post-show. It's raining outside, and the loadout took us 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Basically, just about 3, but...
I mean, 3 hours. So you got to factor those kinds of things in. We've never really...
2.
I've never really talked about that on the video before. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like,
but
okay,
we
we're
had like
close.
these frames that we didn't sell right here. These are coming home with us. So that kind of sucks. But we actually did pretty dang good. And I think Wayne's going to be eating some crow.
Yeah.
Tonight for dinner.
Like crow.
Because I think, we haven't counted it up yet, but I think we made enough that we might have to consider doing a double booth again. Unfortunately for Wayne here.
I like the word might.
Yeah.
Might.
But maybe not. Maybe maybe I'm being too optimistic.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really counted
we'll
up.
See.
Now, yeah.
Maybe
so
we ought to have everyone
we're gonna go
play bets, and whoever gets closest to the amount we actually made gets to keep it.
Yeah.
Like a raffle.
Yeah. So we got up at 6 in the morning because we had a 45-minute drive to get up here. It's 10:22 right now.
Midnight.
Yeah, we're gonna go eat something, and
Yeah.
then we won't get home till midnight. So
this is gonna have to stay in the car.
okay, so that's pretty much the video. I didn't include a few things that I wanted to go over on this one, and then I'll share the total amount that we made. And so the first thing was, and let me show you in this picture right here. You'll notice that the banners on the side of my banner in the middle is all droopy and everything. And that's because I forgot to bring the PVC pipe from home. I could have brought it on the second day, but that thing is so hard to put up that it was kind of like, we probably should have done it. But the thing that happens is we get there in the morning, and we would get up at like 6 in the morning to be ready to leave the house at 7, to be able to get up there an hour or two early to start signing prints, because with our buy two get one free deal, we go through a lot of prints. And in order to, everybody wants them signed. In order to be able to get to everybody quick enough, we have to have them signed ahead of time. And we're always playing catch up, always. And so it's just one of those things that we didn't rectify. I wish we had, because I think it looks crappy the way it's drooping. And I mean, everything still worked, but I tend to be a perfectionist, and I want things looking right. And we designed it to look right, and we forgot those two, because we usually don't have two different booth spaces. So that's the reason for that. I also forgot to include in the video that I had my Bonaparte books, my new children's books, and we sold a bunch of those. And that was really fun to have there because it actually matches the booth. And that's the reason why I haven't brought my other children's books there, is because they just don't match. And one thing that I've really learned in this whole experience, probably the number one lesson I've learned, is if you wanna, if you're not pitching a comic, if you're not pitching something else, a game or whatever you're doing, if you're there to sell fan art, the best thing you can do is create a brand and make your booth space look like it's a store, like a store in the mall, like a Hot Topic or a PacSun or something like that, where each individual boutique shop has its own flavor, and your booth should have that too. And the reason for that is, when people see it, they feel like it's more advanced. They feel like it's it's something to start collecting. Whereas what most of us do, and I did this on my first event, was we have a little bit of everything that we've done. And the problem with that is it's not so much a problem to be able to, for someone to be able to find something they like. The problem comes in is that they don't even see your booth, because it just looks, it's so confusing to look at that it looks like a yard sale, for lack of or a flea market or something. And it's easier for your eye to focus on something that all has a unity to it. So that would be my number one piece of advice if you're going to go through and start doing this, is kind of think with the end in mind and what your booth is going to look like, so you can start building towards that over time. Okay. The next thing is that we had requested, and I don't think we talked about this much, when you sign up for a convention, you can request where you want to be. I don't know, Rachel, do they do that in Artist Alley?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can, and I've got Rachel Everett in the background. You can. What's your website, so they can look you up?
I don't have a website, but I'm on Instagram as Miss Rachel Everett.
Miss Rachel Everett. She's really good. And so when you buy a booth, you can request where it is, and they give you like 4 options of where you want to be. And I don't do the scheduling, so I don't know these things, because Wayne would have known this question. He does all of our scheduling. But so we requested to be, there's a main aisle that on the Salt Lake show, and a lot of shows have a main wider aisle that kind of runs through the whole show. And we really wanted to be out on that aisle. And the reason for that is, what we've noticed is that a crowd begets a crowd, and you're also, at some point during the show, everybody, this is my feeling, everybody that attends the convention is going to walk down that main aisle. They might miss some of the others, but they're going to hit that main aisle. And then, so if they're going to get eyes on your booth if you have good graphics. And then, we have those circles that spin up in the air, that are up high. And so I just felt like that's where we would get our best showing. And our best show ever, the one time we've been on the main aisle, was in Denver, and that was our best show ever. So I think the theory is proven. So we used our 4 requests to get out there. What they do is they grandfather people in. So if you've already been out there, you're not going to lose your spot. And I think that's a good way of doing it. So the fact that we didn't get out there probably means that nobody quit, that had been there the previous year. And so we just kind of have to keep putting in for that and hoping that we can get in out there, because it is better real estate. And I'm not complaining, because where we were was a good spot too. It's just that obviously we all want the best, and that would have been where we really wanted to be. And another reason why I say, so one thing that has surprised me in this experience is, this is our 3rd time being at Salt Lake Comic Con, and we had probably a handful of people to maybe a dozen people come up and say, "Oh, I've never seen this before. Is this your first time out here? Where are you from?" I'm like, "This is our home show. This is our 3rd time here." "This is your 3rd time here?" "No, we've never seen you before." And so I always thought people would go and look at one of these shows like I do, which is systematically like going down one aisle, then coming back up another one, and kind of zigzagging through the show, looking on both sides so you make sure you don't miss anything. And obviously that other people aren't doing that, or they're distracted when they pass by you. If you people watch at these things, you'll see people walking right past your booth, and they're looking at the other side of the aisle. So that can happen too. So that's why I personally think, and the question on this video is, should you buy more than one table or more than one booth in the case where we are? And I definitely think you should, if you can afford it. I don't think you should bet the farm. I don't think you should go upside down. I don't think you should use credit to do it. I think that if you can afford to, it's going to be better. You should have that as a goal to work up to that, because it's just going to give you that much more visibility. And if you can, now you shouldn't do it if you can't fill out the space with your products. If your booth is going to look like like it's already sold out right at the beginning of the show, then that's going to be self-defeating. So, but ideally, you have a bigger space. It takes people longer to walk in front of you, more chance to see you. If you have really good signage, if you have really good graphics up, then you'll have that much more chance of attracting people. So the big question that we had, before I go into before I tell you our totals, a few people had asked me, what is my deal with Wayne as far as like paying him, like how does that whole thing work out? So I figured, since I share everything, I'm going to share that as well. And basically, so Wayne and I, number one, if you're gonna do something like this and have someone else take your stuff out there, you have to have somebody that you trust. Number one, obviously, right? So, and Wayne and I, we shared studio space at school, and he's like the brother that I never had, and I'm like another brother for him because he has a lot of brothers. But we've just always done everything together, and in 25 years. If he has been dishonest with me, he's done a really good job of it, because I would know by now if he's a dishonest person. So like, I think it would be really risky to hire someone that you kind of know. But I mean, like, let's face it, a cash sale that's made, we don't keep strict inventory. I mean, we go through our boxes and we count up. We do a loose, rough count on how much we've sold, and we basically just go by how much we need. And I just don't have time. There's no way I would count every piece and go, well, it looks like we're missing like 5 pieces from the box, or we're missing 20. Where's the money for that? I'm not going to do that. It would be a waste of time. I trust the guy, and so we've done a lot together. And if you can find somebody like that, you could probably work out a situation like this. If you can't, I don't have any clue how you would trust that the cash coming back is legit, because it could go missing so easily. So that would be a really tough thing to do, the arrangement that I have, if you don't really fully trust the person. So what we worked out was, now since Wayne is semi-retired, he made his money in real estate, and he does these more for fun, and also he likes to go out and get extra money and bring it back and have stuff for fun things, or for, I don't know, for investments or whatever. So I knew that I wasn't going to get someone, I wasn't hiring someone off at wages to do this. Like, if I was gonna be able to work here either on my own freelance or on SVS and have someone out on the road doing these shows for me, it was going to come at a price. But I've always felt like you should try to make things win-win. And so we talked and everything, and we just, early on, it just felt really right that I make 60% when we're at a show, when we're both at the show, and he makes 40%. And it's reversed. When he goes out on his own, he makes the lion's share. He makes more. And I think it's a pretty fair arrangement. A lot of people think I'm overpaying him, but they don't understand how much he upsells, how hard he hustles, how it's the little things too. It's like, the equipment that we send out there, because we both have our money in it, he's taking care of it. He's making sure that nothing happens to it. He's making sure that, from the little things, like, when your box starts to empty out, the prints want to start to lay down, and you got to find stuff to put in the back of the box to keep them standing up so they don't get curled, so they don't fall down and get bent. And if you're paying someone wages, they're just not going to care, like, unless they actually own a piece of it. So this is his business as well. And he doesn't own the license to the artwork, but he does own the right to sell it with me. So several people have criticized, oh, you're paying him too much. If they knew how much more he's bringing in, because he's got way more enthusiasm than I do in selling. And I would estimate in a show, let's say we made $5,000 at a show, and let's say we were both there, and if I was at that same show by myself, I'll bet that I would only make $3,000 to $4,000. That's how much extra he's making. So he's paying for his own commission, or at least a big portion of it, just on how he runs the booth, and how seriously he takes it. So I don't know. That's something that I would be interested in. So for those of you who have asked, there's my answer on that. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. So now, the final. Should you buy more than one table? So, we spent each booth space was $1,300, like I mentioned already in the video, and so 2 of them were $2,600, but we didn't have, because it's a local show, we didn't have hotel costs, we didn't have travel. So our expenses were basically prints and the show, and our total ended up being $13,200. And the previous year, so we have to compare it to that. So the first year, I only made $1,500. That was my very, very first show at the same show. And then last year we made $9,200, and So we're up $4,000 for a cost of $1,300 extra dollars. So it appears that it was worth it. And this is at a show that I might add that probably a half dozen people to a dozen people told me that they did worse than last year. So I don't know if the extra booth space maybe it made an even bigger impact. But because the overall show is down, maybe if we had had these 2 booth spaces, we would have made a little bit more last year. It's hard to know. And these are the things that are just really tough to know. Is it worth it? Are you going to make that extra? And sometimes without data to analyze, there's no way of knowing. You have to go with hunches. You have to go with your best guesses. But I can almost guarantee, and I'm almost positive we're going to do 2 of those 10 by 10s again. So it's a 10 by 20 space for next year. And we're going to request the main aisle. And I think that the potential of the show, if it was about what it was this time, would be more like probably closer to somewhere between 15 and 18,000. I think there's that much difference being on the main aisle. The reason for that is a crowd begets a crowd, and when we can get a crowd going, what that says is that there's something going on over there. There's something that I've got to be a part of, and there's something I'm missing out on. And I buy hold on a second. I've been collecting these insect things in glass, and I've got another one up there from this website, or I'm sorry, it's a store, but they go to Comic Con, and it's called Nature, and it's spelled Natur. I don't know, it's got some weird spelling, but they're in downtown Salt Lake. And anyway, I just think these are so cool. And when you go by their booth, there's always a mob. It's very hard to get up to the table. And if you sit there and just watch, you can see people as they're walking down the aisle in front of you, and they're all looking at like what's going on up there, because there's like a feeding frenzy at this booth, more so than all the other ones around it. And it kind of sucks the life out of the room for the other people around. But this guy's got such amazing stuff, and it's so unique for Comic-Con that people are always just kind of flocking to it. And that's kind of the situation that we had in Denver, where we would get a crowd, and sometimes we would keep that crowd for as much as 2 or 3 hours, where we couldn't do anything except sell as fast as we possibly could. And that's what we were trying to generate at this booth, but this space wasn't as good. So we did have a few times like that, but never as good as Denver, and Denver's our top grossing show. And we were working out of 2 Artist Alley tables in Denver, so we were cramped. We had a really hard time showing our stuff. I think in that show we could have made $20,000 if we had had the setup that we had here in Salt Lake. So anyway, I hope those stats help you out. I hope this has been helpful. If you're one of those people that hates comic conventions and is skipping this video, then I guess you won't even hear this right now. But I get it. If you're not into that, if you're into my channel for the children's books or for tutorials or things like that, I get it. And that's why I'm not doing an update video on every single convention. I'm just doing the special ones here and there, the ones that I think that can help you. And anyway, that's it. So go out there and make great art.